Well, and welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast number 13, live but recorded from the Go Spurs Go Memes Network studios. I am your host, Ray. I am joined by the normal crew, Buddy the engineer on the soundboard, Frank the producer underneath the blanket, making sure everybody's doing what they need to be doing, and of course, right to the left of me is my friend Sean. Sean, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing very well, Ray. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I am doing well. It's
Good.
a bit chilly this morning, so I got my coffee.
Cold. It's legit cold.
It feels fantastic, though. I'm kind of glad that it's finally, November. It's time to get chilly now. I'm just glad there's no rain, like, icy crap and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait to get some chili, too.
So how was your week, Sean?
It was good.
Yeah. What'd you do?
I applied for some jobs.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Where'd you apply?
The Texas Railroad Commission, so if anybody's listening, learn the name. Yeah. Railroad inspector, maybe. That would be actually kind of fun.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Lots
Where else?
of traveling. Where else did I apply?
Where else did you apply?
Texas Environmental Commission. I'm actually going to probably try to use my biology degree again.
Oh, that's
first
good.
time.
Well, you have it.
It looks so good on the wall, I think I should use it. We'll figure it out.
Anywhere else? Anywhere else interesting?
Nah.
No, nothing.
Yeah, looking for state.
Well, since you're trying to go with the government, is that what you want to do? Big
I
gov,
think so.
big gov,
Big gov.
big gov job.
Easy to get days off.
Yeah, that's true. Lots of holidays. That's very true. Well, that's awesome. I did Overtime Sports again on Tuesday,
Ooh.
which was fun as always.
Did you hand out any of those tickets to the concert?
We did not hand out any tickets. But funny thing is, every time the phone rang, we thought it was going to be that lady asking for those tickets, but it wasn't. We did give away a case of sausage, more kielbasa.
Sir,
so
I like it.
That show does not discriminate against anybody. Chorizo for everyone. And it's really crazy because, they'll be on the air and they'll say, hey, call in, tell us what you're thinking about the Spurs, thinking about the Cowboys, whatever. Sometimes people just don't call in. But as soon as you say, we're going to give a case of kielbasa away, that phone starts ringing like there's no tomorrow.
Well, yeah. I totally see why.
It's really funny. I don't know. It really cracks me up. But no, had fun on there. Talked Cowboys, Spurs, lots of other stuff. He wanted to get political, so we started talking about the whole Syrian refugee, all that Paris stuff, and I'm just like, probably not the place for it. But because no one's going to agree with you.
If you can't say it at Overtime Sports, where can you say it?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you can't really talk too much about that stuff because you're going to have people on both sides, and people are just going to get upset. Right, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, but I think, Sean, it's time for the news. What do you think?
I think it's that time.
I love that sound so much.
I'm glad to see we got it working again.
Exactly. See what happens when Buddy's not here. Sounds completely fall apart, everything. Anyways, in the news, Kevin McHale was fired by the Houston Rockets this week. So that was kind of a big surprise for a lot of people.
Giant.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen because the Rockets were doing so horribly.
I didn't think after 11 games, they just went to the Western Conference Finals. Not exactly up to date on their, transactions, who they got new, who they lost. But you would figure, give them a little bit more time. They obviously have a plan for success.
Well, you see, my whole thing with it is I think the Rockets have like an 11-game stretch that's coming up very soon. And they're going up against a lot of mid-level teams or high-level teams that have been winning. And so if you think about it, if the Rockets were to blow any of those 11 games, their season's done.
Yeah.
Poor seeding in the playoffs, if they even make the playoffs. There's a lot of teams in the West that are doing a whole lot better than people anticipated. So I could see for the Rockets organization, it was very important for them to get rid of him and kind of move on. Yeah. And so that's basically what they're doing. But now they've basically put Biggerstaff as the interim head coach for now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I know, I believe it was last night or the night before, the Rockets played and they lost again. So they have a lot of struggles. I think for the Rockets, there's a lot of chemistry issues, but we'll see what ends up happening there in Houston. But he's gone.
Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're going to be on the cusp.
Yeah, I could see that maybe 8 seed,
maybe.
if that. So we'll see. But what's real interesting is that the Celtics and the Mavs are saying that they may want to hire Kevin McHale as a advisor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As an advisor.
He was the best post player in the '80s.
Yeah, well, I'll argue with that on Olajuwon because Olajuwon was pretty good at that too.
Yeah, he was late 80s.
I would honestly say Olajuwon and McHale were probably the best two post players in the league during that time.
If you can learn from anybody, may as well be Kevin McHale, especially if you have a big man that can teach.
Dwight Howard didn't learn anything from him. He had. That's the thing is just to talk about Dwight Howard real quick.
He's trash.
He really is. You had Hakeem Olajuwon and Kevin McHale, both of them training you, showing you how to play. and he is absolute trash.
He's terrible.
And and the thing is, he's talented, or at least he was talented. I don't know what's happened with him that, it doesn't help that he's had, I think, like 14 head coaches in his career. So, I mean, he's not had the ideal career to grow with a franchise, Orlando, the Lakers, Rockets. So it's very surprising that when you have two legends training you, trying to get you to a certain level, and you just can't bring it. And then, of course, this year he's still injured, so he's kind of in and out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Former All-Star Josh Howard is trying to make it back into the NBA, so he will actually be joining the D-League. He hasn't signed with the team yet, but that's what his plan is, to get to the D-League, so maybe he'll get called back up into the NBA. Kawhi Leonard was the second fastest to reach 200 wins. He did it in 262 games. The person to reach 200 wins the fastest was AC Green. AC Green. He did it in 259 games. The NBA has fined the Hornets' Marvin Williams for $15,000. That's for a flagrant 2 foul on one of the Knicks on November 17th. Bradley Beal is out 10 days with a minor injury. Supposedly it's his shoulder. The Wizards say that it was a minor injury.
10 games for a minor?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It took a while. He's been out for a while, and they don't know when he's going to be back. So I don't think that's a minor injury. I think that's BS there, but we'll see. The Warriors have only played 3 games against teams with winning records. And the Warriors are still undefeated, Sean. What do you think about that?
Kind of surprised, just because, when you win a championship and, they were noticeably partying all summer, you didn't think they were going to be, like, firing on all cylinders. But, no, they really are. In fact, when they came back against the Clippers a week or so ago, that was really impressive, considering they were down, I think, by 14 sometime in the third quarter. It was an impressive storm back.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is, like I said, Sean, 3 games against teams with winning records, and 2 of those games are against the Clippers. So the Warriors are blowing out teams, which they have been amazing. Their chemistry's there, everything.
So you would say the Warriors have come out to play, yay?
No, what I'm saying, Sean, what I'm saying is that they haven't played anybody yet.
Oh.
They haven't gotten to a schedule where they actually are playing tough teams yet.
Yeah.
So I think all this overblown, everybody raving about how fantastic the Warriors is, it's a bit, overrated right now. I think they're a great team. I think that they, will probably win a whole lot more games before they finally get their first loss.
How many games do you think they're going to win by the end?
I haven't seen their schedule, so I'm not too sure where I would put and say, hey, this is where they're going to lose.
70? Would you say 70 is reasonable?
I think they got a great chance to hit 70.
I think so, too. I think they'll actually hit probably 73.
You think so, that high?
Yeah. I mean, barring injury, I'd say 73.
Very true, yeah. I'd expect at the level they're playing with their youth, but if injuries hit them, there's no way they're going to get near 70. But we'll see what happens with the Warriors. And also, it is noted that the Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets do plan to pursue Kevin Durant this summer when he becomes a free agent. And, of course, I'm still in the camp that says he's going to Washington.
I'm getting less that feeling just because of what he said last time, because a bunch of people because Oklahoma City played in Washington, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, and a bunch of people have banners, and they were like, hey, welcome home, yada, yada. And he actually came out and said, hey, that's really rude to your players that you have right now. It's not supporting them. You need to support them, which I was like, wow, maybe I'm getting the feeling he might, I think, re-sign with Oklahoma City, or I think he might go to the Lakers.
You think? The Lakers?
They got the room. Kobe's going to be gone.
Yeah, it looks like Kobe's going to be gone. He's already said unless something changes, he's not coming back. This is his final year.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But I still kind of feel like Washington is the leading candidate to get Kevin Durant, especially if Bradley Beal is healthy and John Wall's there. I think that's a really awesome team there. But, I mean, he has a pretty good team in Oklahoma City.
No, and that's why I'm
just
thinking,
the Thunder never
finished.
Never finished. Yeah. That's the best way of looking at it, exactly. And then finally, Hedo Turkoglu from Spurs has announced his retirement, so he is done with the NBA.
So I'm assuming he's going to go work at the front office of the Sacramento Kings?
I think so. I think that's where he belongs because he'll match very well with Vlade and Peja. That's it for the news, guys. We'll be talking Spurs in just a bit. Now it's time to talk Spurs. I am joined by Buddy the engineer. Buddy, how are you, my friend? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I know, right? It's going good, man. Good morning. Good morning. I know it's early, but we're doing good.
We're doing well. All right, man. It's time to talk Spurs. A lot of games this week. So we had the Blazers, the Nuggets, the horrible game against the Pelicans, and then last night the Spurs were victorious against the Memphis Grizzlies. So let's kind of start, I guess, with the Portland game. Spurs are at home, so do need to add in there that the Spurs are still undefeated at home. We haven't lost a single game at at home at the AT&T Center. So that's a great thing that the Spurs have going. So what were your thoughts on the Portland game, buddy?
They picked up right where they left off when they won in Portland the week before. I thought overall they looked really good. I think they handled McCollum a little bit better in this game, although then they didn't do so well on Aminu. So Aminu went off in the second half. He was practically perfect in the second half, and the defense was non-existent. But otherwise than that, though, I mean, I thought they looked a lot more in sync with themselves. They were doing real well about moving the ball. I was very happy with the performance of the game. I mean, granted, they didn't completely blow them out, but the game wasn't as close as what the score said either.
Exactly. And then, of course, Lillard went off. He had 27 points. Some positive things for the Spurs is the Spurs had 36 points in the paint. Portland was only able to get 24. That points in the paint is really starting to worry me because we really don't – I keep saying that we don't have that big center presence. It's a straight lane, and a lot of teams are trying to get lots of points in the paint, and we saw that with the Grizzlies game yesterday. And I would say, of course, with the New Orleans game on Friday, there were just so many points in the paint. Fast break points, Spurs had 7, so that's still kind of low, but Portland only had 2, so that's pretty good. The Spurs shot 43%, 30% from 3 points, and did okay on free throws at 77%. Blazers shot at 41%, 37% from three-point land, and then did really well at the free throw line at shooting 85%. I am still worried about that transitional D. I am glad to see that Parker is finally now leading the team in assists. So it kind of seems like Tony's coming alive.
It seems this last week he's sort of come into his own a little bit more. He's getting better offensively. He's starting to pick it up a little bit more defensively. He's still Tony Parker at defense,
right.
But otherwise than that, but he's getting better though. He wasn't as bad as we were when we talked the last time.
Exactly, and I'm going to start calling Danny Green icy hot. Because he's one or the other. He's either on fire, hitting threes, his defense, he's playing on both sides of the court, or he's just ice cold. He's getting beat to the basket. He's not hitting any baskets whatsoever. So his new nickname is Icy Hot.
He's one of those players that, he reminds me of one of these people that if he's not on one side of the floor, he's definitely not on the other side of the floor as well.
Right.
Like if his offense isn't going, his defense isn't going. Like it's sort of weird. Like the Grizzly game sort of reminded me of that, but we'll talk about that more.
Okay, so let's see. And for this game, Kawhi led the Spurs with 19 points. So let's get on to the Memphis game. The Nuggets game.
Nuggets game, right. So Spurs were victorious in that one. They won 109-98. Parker scored 25, so it was one of his better games of the year. He outplayed the new rookie sensation, Emmanuel Mudiay.
Yeah, he did.
And he was after the game, from what I read from some kind of interviews and everything, he said he was very impressed with Parker. He says that he grew up watching him, things like that. I'm sure Parker loved hearing that. In that game, overall, with the Nuggets were led by, ironically enough, this last game of Jokic. He led the team for 23 points. He had the game of his life against Duncan. He was saying that he was so happy that he had the game of his life against Duncan. I was like, oh,
the funny thing, too, is that there's so many young players now that are getting the chance to play against Duncan, and they're all in awe of him. They're
right.
Like, I remember when I was 4 years old and I watched him play.
It's like I'm playing Jesus or something like that. It was so impressive. So it was good. But they did a really good job defensively against Gallinari. For instance, Gallinari,
they completely shut him down.
Gallinari, the game before, had over 25. I don't know exactly, but I know he had over 25. He only had 9 points in this game, so you kept him shut down, and he can kill you. Freed only had 15, so that's a good thing, too. You can keep him at bay, so that's a good thing. And again, Mudiay, they only kept him to 5 points at 2 of 12 shooting overall. Like I said, in this one, Parker led the Spurs in scoring with 25. He was 9 of 14 from the field.
He was just on fire.
He was just on fire the whole game. Leonard being his usual Leonard self with 20 points, and Aldridge, he's still struggling with the shot in this one as well. He's 4 of 14 in this game. He's 11 points. He did have 12 rebounds, so that's good for him. Overall team statistics, though, looked really good. Spurs shot 49% in this game.
Yeah, and just one thing to the Aldridge thing. If you notice, he's getting a lot of open looks, but he's not hitting his baskets.
Yes.
So that's I don't know that's so much of a concern, but if you notice, he does better when they're on the road as opposed to when they're home. And I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what to gain from that so far. I'm sort of concerned as to what exactly his issue is. It's like his jump shot is the thing that concerns me the most right now. But because he has like that, when we bought him in, we had this idea that Aldridge was going to be like this, always like on the spot, mid-range shooter, and now it's sort of spotty at this point.
Exactly.
And so now you're depending on his drives to the basket, but then he still needs to find a spot when he's driving to the basket. So you find him like driving against the weirdest situations, and he just pulls up like a little lame duck here and there. So he's on it sometimes. Like in some of the games, his mid-range shot is just spot on, and then he's just dominating. And then like other games, he just seems tentative, and then his shot, like we'll talk about this, the Pelicans game, he looked awful in the Pelicans game.
Yeah.
And I thought he was practically non-existent. I didn't even know he was on the floor at times.
Mind you, he was injured. So let's just jump into the Pelicans. Let's go straight into the Pelicans game. So, of course, Spurs lost Friday night 104-90 to the Pelicans. That was a 14-point loss, but I actually think it was worse than that.
Yes.
The game was just absolutely horrible. Leonard had 22 points. LaMarcus Aldridge had 20 points. This is the game where he injured himself. Mm-hmm. He did step on somebody's foot, twisted his ankle. I thought he was done for the night. All the reports I was getting Friday night was that he was not going to be coming back in, but he did come in. And at the end of the game, they asked Aldridge, how's your ankle, whatever, and he said it was really bad. He felt that he couldn't move at all. And that's not what I saw watching that game. I think he had that adrenaline pumping, that he was moving.
He was moving, and I think he was trying to keep up with Davis and stuff like that. I thought he did an okay, as okay a job as you can on Davis. But, his shot just was not falling.
It just was not. Duncan didn't get a single rebound, which is just crazy.
That's shocking.
He had 6 points. Parker had 10 points, but Parker was just completely destroyed by Ish Smith. It was just horrible. But again, buddy, this goes back to what you and I have been saying for the longest time, is when the Spurs play a group of guards that are very quick, fast, Parker just can't keep up with them.
Right.
The Spurs have this bad habit of making these not necessarily unknown players, but these regular players, I would say, become all-stars.
And it's been historically a problem within the last historically, I'm sorry, that's a wrong word. I'd say in the last 2 or 3 years, you'd put the smaller guards out there, and then they tend to give Parker a whole bunch of problems. I can think of, for instance, one out of all of them, ironically enough, Isaiah Cannon. And when he played the Spurs a year ago or so, man, he just straight up torched Parker.
Yeah.
And mind you, Isaiah Cannon, nobody knows who Isaiah Cannon is.
No.
But the thing is that he's a small guard, quick, very quick shooter. He can shoot the three, and he just gave Parker fits. And it's just you can see this. You can see Ish Smith, the same thing. And I was like, who's heard of Ish Smith?
Well, not just that, but Ish Smith came off the bench. He wasn't even the starter for the game.
He was supposed to be,
it was Drew Holiday, which he had trouble with, but Holiday really didn't do much. He wasn't really hitting his shot. Same thing with Eric Gordon, which was a small shooting guard. Sorry. That he didn't do fantastic. So combined, they had 20 points altogether. But Danny Green didn't do anything. Danny Green he shot 2 for 8 from the field, 6 points. Just wasn't really present there
again,
defensively.
non-existent.
Completely non-existent. And of course, you have to talk about when you're speaking of the Pelicans, you got to speak about Ryan Anderson, power forward off the bench, 30 points. 12 for 21 from the field, 6 for 11 from threes. The guy is just on fire.
He had a game like that before. He had beat. They had played the Mavericks, and he had like 25 or almost 30 points in that game too. So he was just picking up where he left off in that game, and we just showed that we just weren't ready for him at all.
We weren't at all.
And it seemed like everything he was throwing up at one point or another was going
just
in.
Going
I was like, really?
Yeah.
Come on. It was like.
We just couldn't hit anything in this game, and that's why I put up that meme of the stormtrooper saying the Spurs shooting was because we kept shooting and we were just not hitting a damn thing.
Yeah, it was like there was a lid on the rim.
So I think it's fair to say that the Pelicans bench is what beat us. Anderson, Smith combined for 47 points off the bench. Nobody on our bench was even close to that. David West had 5 points. Patty Mills had 11 points. It was just a really bad game for the Spurs. We only shot 40%. Pelicans shot 44%. We did, however, shoot really well from threes. Mm-hmm. We shot 53% from three-point land. The Pelicans only shot 37%. And, of course, again, free throws are okay, 81% compared to the Pelicans, 94%. They just really outplayed us. Points in the paint, what I kind of mentioned earlier, buddy.
Right.
The Pelicans had 46 points in the paint. They were just getting to the basket.
They dominated. Spurs weren't getting any second chance points. They were just straight up out rebounded most of the game.
Yeah.
Davis was everywhere.
He just was everywhere. And he gets so fired up to play the Spurs.
Oh, yeah, he loves it.
And I think that the Pelicans are our Achilles heel.
Right now.
We just match up so horribly with them for some reason.
Look at it so far in the last 2 games that we've played them. They've screwed us twice. They screwed us at the end of last season, and they screwed us this game. It's no coincidence. I think they do have that voodoo that you were talking about.
I'm telling you, they did have that voodoo. Susana sana colita de rana. We need to get those eggs out there because it's just not working against the Pelicans. All right, buddy, let's go to the win last night against Memphis.
Yes, sir. We won 92-82. We snapped their 4-game winning streak as well. Again, we didn't play all that well in this game. I mean, I was sort of shocked that we actually won by 10 points, especially watching the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. They just looked so out of sync. We didn't have Aldridge playing last night, so he was sitting last night because of the ankle, like we were talking about as well. So West got his first start of the year yesterday,
which was really exciting.
Which was great to see. I thought he was pretty hard defensively. I mean, it also helped that they didn't have Randolph as well. So having no Zach Randolph sort of helped them. Zebo is a big part of what they do, and Gasol
especially for rebounds. You got to remember that. So yes, Spurs won by 10, but I think this is a much closer game. Possibly even we lose this game if Zebo's there, especially with Aldridge being out.
And it's sort of weird, this game is. I was watching this game, and I think a lot of it had to do with the way that the Grizzlies' game plan went into it. For instance, you look at the stats, and you see Gasol was only 3 of 9 in that game. He only had 8 points, which is real strange. I mean, considering that Gasol, he's a Spurs killer in big time. I mean, I think that Randolph, we do a good job on him. Be honest with you, we found sort of a way to just make him work very hard to be able to get what he gets. But Gasol has always been one of these guys who just can really just mess us up. I mean, I remember last year in the double overtime game when he just murdered us in that game.
And I mean, you look at the guard play that Memphis had. Their guards combined for 31 points. That's Connolly and Lee. Mm-hmm. Again, Tony Parker was on fire. He scored 18 points, but that was on the first half.
Right.
He didn't really do anything in the second half, which is kind of sad. Again, icy hot Danny Green, 9 points, 1 of 7 from 3 points, and he had so many open looks to hit threes, and it was like there was a lid. There was a lid on that basket because he could not hit a single thing. Again, icy hot, like I was saying. Ginobili.
I have to say, he was the savior of that game in a lot of ways. Him and Anderson were the saviors of the game. Anderson came in there and sort of hit 2 or 3 shots in the fourth quarter that sort of put them just to make sure they had some breathing room at the point. He hit like some turnaround shot on Gasol, which was amazing. Yeah. And then he hit this like broken play, like floater in the lane, and it was amazing that he hit that too. And they because they could not score at that point.
No.
And so I think that they came in there. Ginobili had a fantastic game coming off of an injury, and so I was very happy with Ginobili.
I mean, he's just another player. I mean, his youth is back. His shot is there. His passing is phenomenal. I mean, he's just been amazing since he's been back. Let's see what else. Points in the paint. Got to mention that the Spurs had 40 points in the paint, but the Grizzlies had more. They had 42 points in the paint. The Spurs gave up the ball 18 times. Grizzlies scored 24 points on us. Grizzlies gave up the ball 17 times. We scored 17 points on them. We actually did beat them on fast break points. Mm-hmm. The funny thing about this game is if you notice, both teams play a slow type of basketball. They're both not really fast, so it really was a game in slow motion.
Yeah, it was very slow. I thought, considering by the score, I mean, 92-82 is a pretty low score.
Yeah, it's a very low score, very slow game, and that's why there was only 27 combined points that were fast break points because these teams just do not play very, very quickly. Final thoughts before we get on to the next week, buddy? Any final thoughts about how the Spurs are doing?
Right now at this point, I think defensively, and we talk a little bit, we talk about the woes of the defensive end of the Spurs right now, but honestly, I think that they're actually finding their way. According to the stat that I was seeing, that they're actually ranked overall, in field goal percentage, defense, are 4th in the league, which is not bad. I mean, and I'm pretty happy with defensively, which they weren't great defensively last year.
No.
So they've gotten better on that point, right? The only thing I really want to see more of is, a little bit more of a steady offensive rhythm out of the first unit. I really think they're still struggling with that.
They really are, yes. I agree with you.
And better integration with Aldridge. I don't know whether it's really so much of the Spurs not adjusting to Aldridge or Aldridge not really wanting to adjust to how the Spurs do it. And it's not so much that Aldridge is fighting it. It's just it's difficult for somebody like him to find a spot within an offense that never really incorporated somebody of his skill set into
exactly.
There. And so that's the things I want to see more of. But otherwise, that's the second unit. Just keep up the good
I know,
work.
they're just fantastic. So upcoming this week, I know they have the Suns on Monday. I anticipate some struggles with that game because of the guard play. So I think we'll have a lot
on
of
back-to-back, though, so we might luck out on that one.
That's very true. I don't know who else is for the rest of the week. I don't have it in front of me.
I have to look that one up.
That's all right. But the Suns game, I am kind of like...
That's the one I'm worried about right now.
Yeah, and I think we have the Mavs as well on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
I am worried about those.
I'm kind of curious to see how the Mavs are going to play against us. The new look Mavs, because they have been doing pretty well with not really having this marquee player besides Dirk. So it'll be very interesting to see how they do. But that's it for Spurs Talk. Buddy and I will be back in just a second. We're going to be talking about the NBA block leaders of all time. And we're back. I'm here with Buddy the Engineer, and now we are going to talk about the record-breaking blocks by Tim Duncan. He actually surpassed David Robinson, moved up on the list. Tim Duncan is now 5th all-time for blocks. Buddy, this is a very impressive list, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because it really made me realize how impressive it is and who else is on this list as well. So, taking a look at this list right now, so Tim Duncan, as of last night, is now at 2,966 blocks. He passed David Robinson. So Duncan is year 19. Robinson retired after year 14. And so I actually think that Robinson should be higher on this list because if he would have gotten in a couple more years,
right.
I think he would be much higher on this list.
I think so too. I mean, for his time, he was a very dominant defensive player. When it was toward the end of his career, he started being, started trailing off a little bit. But
he could because we had Duncan.
Exactly, it helped that he had Duncan.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that you have to understand too about the David Robinson numbers is that there was also a year where he was injured, which I think was like 95, 96. It was right. This was the reason why we got Duncan is because the Spurs did so bad without Robinson there. So that's a whole season that Robinson only recorded like maybe 2-3 blocks.
Correct.
So keep that in mind. Okay, so next on the list for Tim Duncan to pass is Mark Eaton. And I'm really blown away by this because who thinks of Mark Eaton?
No one thinks of Mark Eaton.
No.
Everybody thinks of Mark Eaton, tall white guy with red hair, and he looked like a ginger.
So Eaton is at 3,064 blocks. The crazy thing about Eaton is that he actually did this in only 11 seasons.
Right. And in 11 seasons is a long time, but for a big man, it's pretty unusual, considering the fact that he was in there quite a bit for a big man. And he always averaged, though, somewhere around 8 or 9 blocks a year. And he was always the league leader. When I remember it was in my younger years when I was in the 90s. I mean, he always led the league in blocks. I mean, it wasn't a year that I remember him not leading the league in blocks, but he was a horrible offensive player, though.
Yeah, and then a crazy thing, in 84-85, in one season, he recorded over 456 blocks.
That's insane.
That's insane. And if you think about everybody else that's on this list, you have Olajuwon at number 1, Dikembe Mutombo number 2, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 3.
Right.
And I don't think any of those guys recorded a game with so many, recorded a year with so many blocks as Eaton did. I think Olajuwon's, the closest he ever got to was 376 in a year, which is still a lot. I mean, it's a crazy amount. So Olajuwon is the leader.
Right.
No one's going to catch him.
No.
It's not going to happen. And he played 19 years.
19 years.
19 years. And what it also made me realize, too, is I completely forgot that the Rockets traded him, sent him to Toronto, and he played 1 year before he retired.
Correct.
Crazy.
It's a crazy thing. And I mean, and I was so crazy. I remember when he got traded, I was thinking to myself, wow, you trade him to Toronto of all places. I don't even know what they got in place of it, for that matter.
I think they got draft picks. And then the Rockets ended up picking somebody that didn't even last in the league.
That's ironic how that works out.
But you gave away your star player. He was the Rockets franchise. But there was a lot of drama with Olajuwon and the Rockets. He was really upset with management. He didn't like the way that the team was going. He didn't like the way it was being run. He demanded a trade a couple times. He was upset about his salary. There was tons of issues before they hired Rudy Tomjanovich, and then Tomjanovich is the one that actually helped the Rockets win 2 championships back-to-back. So after they won the championships, Olajuwon was a little bit better. He was much more happy. But he just really didn't have a great relationships with the Rockets organization.
That's true.
Let's see. Dikembe Mutombo, like I said, number 2, he has 3,289 blocks. He was with multiple teams. The most blocks that he recorded for a season was 336. That was when he was younger in the 93-94 season.
With the Nuggets?
With the Nuggets. We all remember Dikembe Mutombo and the Nuggets defeating the number 1 seeded Seattle Supersonics.
Him laying on the floor with the ball
grabbing
over his head.
the ball, yeah. It's just crazy. But, Tim Duncan is averaging about 165 blocks a season. That's his career average there. So if he plays the rest of this year, which he will, if he gets all the blocks he needs this year, he comes back next year and gets 165 blocks. If he hits his career average both of these years, he will actually
pass Eaton up.
He'll pass Eaton, he'll pass Abdul-Jabbar, and he could pass Mutombo. It's basically like if he beats Mutombo, it'll be maybe by 4 or 5 blocks. So there's a chance that he may just remain number 3.
About postseason at this point.
Yeah. We're not talking postseason. This is just regular season, and but that number from Olajuwon, which is 3,830, is just not reachable. And looking at the list and seeing everyone that's still active, no one that's active right now is anywhere near getting to Olajuwon, and I think the only person that's active that's even on the list right now is Dwight Howard, and he has 1,729.
Well, they've got Kevin Garnett at 17.
But Garnett's not going to.
He's not going to.
He's not going to do anything else. He's not even going to get close to Robinson. There's no way
Anybody
within the
on
next
this
year
list
or so.
surprise you?
Tree Rollins.
Yes, Tree Rollins surprises me.
Rollins.
That's the one thing. And mind you, he's number 9 on this list at 25-42.
Yeah, and then I also thought that at 14, Sean Bradley really surprised me that he had that many blocks.
Considering the fact that he never seemed to play.
He
I didn't
never
ever
played-
see him
yeah,
play
exactly.
that very much at all.
Anyway, so
Elton Brand?
once again, Elton Brand's on there too.
20.
Theo Ratliff, Larry Nance, Jermaine O'Neal. What happened to Jermaine O'Neal? He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I think he's like a bum somewhere right now. I don't know where he's at.
I don't
right
know
now.
what's happened to him. But it is
but he has a
a
headband.
big achievement for Tim Duncan to pass David Robinson. But we're telling you right now, if he hits his career average, 165 blocks this year, 165 blocks next year, if he comes back, he will either surpass Dikembe Mutombo or be just right underneath Mutombo, who has 3,289 blocks. Buddy, thanks for chatting blocks with me. We'll be back in a bit. Here at Go Spurs Go Memes, we're always looking for fun new segments to do as part of our podcast. Today, we introduce our brand new segment we're calling Spurs in the City. This is where Go Spurs Go Memes goes throughout the city of San Antonio to find Spurs fans just like you. We hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Clay with Spurs and the City, and I'm here with 3 ginormous Spurs fans. What's your name?
Alma Corona.
Alma, who's your favorite Spur?
Es Parker, ¿cómo se llama? Tony Parker.
She's not that favorite. Antonio Parker. Tony Parker.
Antonio.
Tony. And what's your name?
Hope Garcia,
And who's your favorite Spur? Hope?
Ginobili, of course.
Manu! And what's your name?
Yolanda.
And Yolanda? Who's your favorite Spur?
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. So the big 3 are represented here today.
Hands. Woohoo.
Oh, the guy with the big hand. They all have big hands.
All the guys.
Who's the guy with the big hands?
Is it Kawhi?
Cool. Yeah, he does have giant hands. What do you think he buys gloves at? Any idea?
Oh, they're specially made.
I'm sure he needs a good seamstress to make it. Okay, so this is what I want to do today. You all have your favorite Spurs: Duncan, Parker, Antonio, Tony Parker, and Ginobili. Do you have T-shirts of these guys?
Yes, sir.
You have T-shirts?
Spurs, yes.
Yeah.
Spurs,
Yeah. Okay,
yes.
perfect. What I want to do is we all know their number. Parker's number is. I is not a number. We're gonna come back to you.
Okay.
Ginobili's number is. Give you a hint. In Spanish, it sounds like 20.
20.
20.
That's 20. And what's Tim Duncan's number?
No, it's not a number. That.
He's one better than Ginobili.
Oh, 21.
There it is. Okay. And now we're back to Alma. What's Tony Parker's number? I don't know is not a number, Alma.
It's the best.
It's Spanish.
It's el número uno.
No, it's 8 more than numero uno.
Nice.
That's no in German, but yes, it is 9. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we've got Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili. All you have to do is spell their last name. Ready, go.
Parker.
Okay.
Barker.
Okay, we got Parker, Duncan,
Duncan.
Duncan, and Ginobili.
Oh. Gino. Gin O. B.
Come on, Miss Hope.
LA.
I think there's a word in there somewhere. So as you can see, we got giant Spurs fans here in Spurs in the City. Hey, you know what? How about we just end this with a good Go Spurs Go so they get good luck when they're winning their game tonight. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go Spurs, go!
For Go Spurs Go Memes, this is Clay with Spurs and the City.
Yes.
That means it's time to talk football. Yesterday was Saturday night. Had a lot of football games happening. Lots of upsets in the world of college football. We're going to talk college first, and then we'll go right into the pros. Sean, what do you want to talk about first, bud?
Well, let's talk about the biggest upset there was, and that was Michigan State over Ohio State. I was fairly surprised. I really thought Ohio State was going to run the table, literally with Ezekiel Elliott. That didn't happen. In fact, he even made comments after the game that the coaching staff did not have a good game plan. Boom, shot fired.
Wow.
Let's see. Clemson won. Bama won. Ohio State fell. Notre Dame won,
Barely.
which I'm still pissed about because Notre Dame's going to get into the playoff, and I don't think they deserve to be there. I would say keep a one-loss Ohio State there as opposed to Notre Dame, but that's just me.
It's all about money at that point.
It really is.
Yeah.
Iowa rolled again, so they're still undefeated. They're probably going to be in the playoff. And then Baylor did pull out the victory at Oklahoma State. I couldn't believe they won.
pissed.
And what, I think they were on their third string quarterback.
Yes.
Crazy. And they won by 10 points. So
Yep.
they did beat Oklahoma State soundly. And of course, Oklahoma did defeat TCU.
I went to bed when they were up by 14, and I was like, oh, they got it.
Yeah, and so I'm curious if Oklahoma can actually get into the playoff being a one-loss team because all they have left is Bedlam against Oklahoma State. So I don't know if that's going to be enough to propel them into the playoff or
It's
not.
because of their one loss.
Right, to Texas.
The answer is no.
Yeah, they
I
won't
mean,
do
because
it.
you got to put them up against a Notre Dame and stuff. And like I said, when you talk about money, more people are probably going to see Notre Dame because of their
Oklahoma.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they also, well, anyways, we had that.
else?
We had Florida barely beating Florida Atlantic in overtime. That was kind of sad, but they did. We had Stanford beating California, Michigan beating Penn State, which was actually a pretty fun game to watch. It was the first game right after ESPN. I enjoyed watching it. UCLA pulled it out over Utah, kind of surprising, especially since they, floated a duck against Washington State last week. Florida State beating Chattanooga. Didn't see that. Well, yeah, I did. Let me see. Ole Miss beating LSU. LSU's third loss in a row. Les Miles staying or going?
I think he's going.
I think so,
the
too.
last time that they had 3 losses in a row was right before they hired Nick Saban.
Yep.
So I think Miles is gone. And actually, the rumors started yesterday on social media that he was actually gone. And they were trying to say that, I forgot what guy from ESPN, they were saying that he was the one saying that Miles had been fired. But supposedly it was just a rumor, but I really do think that he's gone.
Yeah, and we had number 16 Navy beating Tulsa.
Ooh.
Navy doing pretty good. North Carolina beating Virginia Tech, and this was
Beamer's last home game.
And
that was
went
a
in
sad
overtime.
game to watch.
Yeah,
It was really because you wanted him to get the win, and just
Yeah.
but he still got carried off the field.
he did.
So it was
And
really
he
really cool.
absolutely deserved it.
Good I'm gonna miss him.
The only coach I remember
Yeah.
actually being at Virginia Tech. So we got that. We have Houston losing to Connecticut, kind of sad. 20-17. We had Northwestern beating Wisconsin, which was a surprise because
I
it
was
was
very
senior
surprised
day
by
at
that, yeah.
Wisconsin. I think only one of us had that, whoever that was. And then we had Temple beating Memphis at home.
I saw that coming.
Yeah. And then we had Oregon beating USC.
That I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe how many
was
points
really
Oregon threw up
surprised.
on USC.
They throttled them. The playoff picture is looking even clearer, I guess. We have Clemson. Looks like they're going to be in. We have Alabama. I don't see them losing to Auburn.
Well, let
again.
me kind of cover this real quick.
Yeah, go.
Since you bring it up, Sean, because 538 did a whole little graph for us, which I
Yeah.
kind of shared with you guys, kind of showing everybody's playoff chances if they win out or they lose or whatever. So Clemson winning out, it's a 99% chance that they're going to be in the playoff. So it looks like pretty much Clemson's going to be in the playoff as long as they win the ACC championship. Bama, as long as they win the SEC championship, they'll be in as well. Ohio State, it looks like they're out.
Yeah.
They're going to be completely out. It looks like Oklahoma, as long as they win Bedlam, they could be in there because if they win out, they have a 92% chance to be in the playoff. Oklahoma State had a higher chance, but with the loss against Baylor, they're done.
Yeah.
Who else had a higher chance? Oh, Iowa has a pretty good shot of getting in there. So it really looks like it'll be Clemson, Bama, Oklahoma, and Iowa, and Notre Dame will actually be on the outside.
Yeah, I could see. Depending on how much weight you're going to give to if they beat Stanford, which will be a legitimate win for them, they have a good shot. I don't see Iowa getting in because they'll still have to play the Big Ten champion, and that may be what, Ohio State or Michigan State.
It'll probably be Michigan State.
Okay.
Yeah, because Michigan State only has one loss. They beat Ohio State, so it should be Michigan State representing that side of the Big Ten to go up against Iowa.
Yeah, if yesterday taught us anything, nobody's secure right now.
Right.
It could be anybody. Oklahoma could lose to Bedlam, and
Yes.
then where's Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Well, I think even if Oklahoma loses to Oklahoma State is still out because of the recent loss.
Yeah.
So basically what happens in that case is either Florida or Notre Dame sneak in.
Yeah.
It's going to be 1 or 2. Or it could also still be Michigan State. It just depends.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of football to be played, but it looks pretty much like Clemson, Bama, Notre Dame, let's see, Michigan State, or Iowa's going to get in.
Yeah.
That's going to be our 4.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a great day. Okay,
All
to
right,
the pros.
To the pros. We got a fury of games today. We have
Fury?
Yeah, you like that? We have the Jets visiting the Texans. The Jets are 3.5-point favorites. I will actually say the Texans. They're on a high.
I'm going to go with the Texans. Too.
I will go with the
Yeah.
Texans as well.
After they murdered Los Tigres de la Norte,
Murdered them.
murdered. And then we have the Cowboys going to the Dolphins.
Return of Tony Romo.
And Frank, you're the Dolphins fan and Cowboys fan.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm going to go with the Dolphins, too. I mean, oh, man.
I have no faith in the Cowboys. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Because I'm
I do
thinking
too.
everything's just shutting down on them already. You know, they're imploding.
We're all going with Flipper here.
Yeah.
All right, we have Raiders going to the Lions. Lions had an impressive win at Green Bay.
No kidding.
No one saw that coming.
No one saw that coming. And Detroit's favored by a point.
I'm going with Raiders.
I'm going to go with the Lions on that one.
I'll go with Raiders.
Okay.
All right, we have the the Colts going to the Falcons. My money's on the Falcons.
Falcons.
Okay. Buccaneers going to the Eagles. Eesh.
Ooh, that could go either way.
Eagles.
I'm going to go Eagles.
I'm going to say Bucks. I'm going to go
Okay.
against it. We have Broncos going to Bears.
You know, Denver's favored by 1.5 points, but I could see Chicago beating them. I think there's serious issues with the Broncos right now, so I'm going to go with the Bears.
I'm going Bears.
Okay? Frank?
Bears.
Okay, we have the Rams at the Ravens. I will never pick the Ravens again. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Frank?
Yeah, what Sean said.
Okay. Redskins at Panthers.
Panthers.
The line is 7.
Panthers. Yeah, it's only 7 for Carolina.
No, and I'm saying I think the Redskins are going to – I don't know. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll cover.
Okay.
I would take the 7. Frank?
I am going to go with the Panthers. They're playing at home.
Panthers. Frank likes cats.
Chiefs at Chargers. Kansas City's favored by 3.
I'll go Chiefs.
KC.
Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs, I guess. Packers going to Vikings. This is a game I want to watch.
Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings to beat Green Bay,
I
and that
say
puts
Vikings.
them, 3 losses in a row?
Yeah.
Yep.
Put it on the ground.
So is that Vikings?
Yes.
Vikings, okay. I was like, Vikings?
49ers at under 500 Seahawks.
Seahawks.
I'm saying Seahawks.
Seahawks favored by 13.5.
And one of the bigger games on
Los
this list,
Tigres del Norte versus the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
I'm saying Cardinals.
I'm saying Cardinals
Okay.
too.
And our Monday night game, the Bills play the Patriots at home.
Pats,
I am
the
gonna go-
undefeated machine known as the New England Patriots. They will stay undefeated and take out the Buffalo Bills.
Frankie?
I am going to say the Bills because I do not like the Patriots whatsoever.
Wah.
And I'm going to be right at some point in this game.
I'm going to say Pats.
All right, that's football, guys. We'll be back in a bit. And we're back. Right now, we have the pleasure of talking to a guy that's been making some headlines around San Antonio. Emmanuel Casasola is here with me. Manuel is the gentleman that has put together the petition to rename Lee High School as Popovich High School. Manuel, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's a little cold, but
It's a little cold, right? Thanks so much for coming and joining us this lovely Sunday morning. We appreciate you being here.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we start talking about the petition and everything. So tell us about yourself, Manuel.
Sure. O2 graduate of Robert E. Lee. I work in a company called IEH Laboratories, so we do food safety testing.
Cool.
So all over the country. Married, have a first kid on the way.
Oh, fantastic.
Due in March.
Congrats.
Thanks. And just a lover of all things San Antonio, especially, and Spurs related. So
Awesome. Okay, so how long have you been a Spurs fan?
since I can remember.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, being made fun of because I didn't go for the Lakers or I didn't go for the Bulls or something like that. I always wore my Spurs shirt with the Fiesta colors and stuff like that. But, it really wasn't popular to go for the Spurs because they would lose in the playoffs.
Right.
I remember that when they lost in the first round to Golden State, man, that was hard.
What was that, like 94, 93, 94, right?
Yeah, no, it was early. I think it was like 91 or 92.
You're right.
something like
Yes,
that.
yes. I remember that because I remember NBC had the coverage. and they did. It was during Fiesta time, and so they had the coverage over hemisphere and everything like that. So I totally remember when that happened. Yeah, against,
and then hating the Utah Jazz for so many years. Oh my God!
I don't think you're alone in that. I think we all just have this distaste for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, and I think forever I will have that distaste. Yeah, the Karl Malone elbow just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not digress.
Yeah.
I hate them. No.
Okay, Manuel. All right. So I have to ask. So where did this idea come from?
It started off kind of as a joke between me and my wife because when Popovich first grew the beard back in 2008, I think to the season 2008, I told my wife, I said, you put a Confederate jacket on him, he looks like Robert E. Lee. And so I guess that was like the first implantation of the idea. But it really was when the whole, petition to rename it started, I think like in July, after Julian Castro said something about it. And so I've been for the last couple of months, been talking about it to people, other alumni, people at work, and they're asking me, what do you think about it? And I always say the same thing. I don't think they should change it. But if they're going to change it, let's name it after something San Antonio. And so that's when last week I really started getting off on a rant about it at work. And somebody at work said, well, you should do something about it. I said, you know what? I am. I'm going to write a petition. And, to me, Popovich, when it's all said and done, they start talking about the legacy of these Spurs. To me, the one that they really need to focus on, I think, is Gregg Popovich, because Tim Duncan has been, don't get me wrong, I love Tim Duncan. He's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. He's just such a phenomenal player, leader on the court. But to me, having Popovich being able to get more out of less than other coaches, being able to rip into somebody like Danny Green or Tony Parker and just totally rip them apart on the sidelines. But then when you talk to them, they have such reverence for Popovich. I think to me that speaks volumes about the kind of man, kind of leader that he is. So that's kind of what I said. Okay, let's do a Popovich High.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question. I was going to ask you, why Popovich? So you've pretty much answered that question. Yeah. But did you think of anybody else besides Popovich when you were thinking? You heard all this. It was on the news. It was everywhere that they were thinking of renaming Robert E. Lee, because I think it was some current students that had some issues with the name.
Yeah, I was incoming senior. I think.
Okay. So they wanted to change the name of the school. So when that whole started, how did you feel about that? Because you were just saying that you if they're going to change it, let's do Popovich. So how do you feel about this whole idea of them changing the name?
Like I said, I'm kind of against it from the standpoint of, you'd be changing a lot in trying to, sweep under the rug some history that we need to be reminded of, especially with, all of the political stuff that's going on right now across the country with regards to, how people want to deal with immigration or the refugees coming over from Syria. We need to remind ourselves of a time when people held themselves to these moral values they felt were true, but actually were on the wrong side of history. And I think having a school like Robert E. Lee kind of reminds us sometimes we can be on the wrong side of history and teach those future generations about it. Not to get in too much of a political stance, but I wanted to have, wanted to make sure that gets across that I'm against the name change, but if they're going to change it, and I see the writing on the wall, I think it's inevitable. They should let the community decide what we're going to change it to, and I really feel strongly it should be something that the community that can represent the community. Yeah. Whether it's a Gregg Popovich, a Henry B. Gonzalez, Raul Jimenez, who did the Thanksgiving luncheon that so many people go involved in.
It still happens to this day.
That is a San Antonio tradition. I would be all for that. Gregg Popovich, I think, was just the choice of popularity, trying to get the discussion started.
Yeah. So. Okay, so when I found out about this, I think it was early this week that I had kind of saw that this was happening, whatever. I checked out your petition, and I think at the time you had about like 200 signatures. And so I reached out to you and I said, hey, Emmanuel, come on the podcast. Love to talk to you. Let's see what's going on. Now, since that day, which I think was like Tuesday, Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, it's really taken off.
Yeah.
How many signatures do you have right now?
It's over 1,700.
Wow. And your goal was 1,000, right?
The goal was 1,000. What's crazy was I had 45 signatures Tuesday morning.
Wow.
Project Spurs did a little snippet that got retweeted out. That got retweeted out by several things, and then the lady from mysa.com, Maddie Sky, she called me while I was at the airport flying back from DC, and we did a quick interview at the airport, and then it just took off. I mean, it was insane. I now know what it means to go viral because when you get coverage in ESPN, CBS
I was just going to
Sports,
say, like, you're everywhere. You're like
USA
ESPN,
Today.
CBS Sports, USA Today, Go Spurs, Go memes. You're everywhere.
Yeah. well, it really didn't take off until Go Spurs Go did that picture with Robert E. Lee and Popovich next to each other. That was Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It really didn't take off until then.
Yeah, because I put it up because, I'm pretty good with memes.
But you're excellent with these.
And when I talked to you, I said, I want to see where this goes. I'm going to put this up on Go. I'm going to put it everywhere that I have Go Spurs Go memes. So I was like, how can I get people to notice this? Because if I just made a little blurb about it, a lot of times people don't read.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to put
a lot of people don't read.
Yeah, a lot of people don't read. And so I was like, I got to find a way to get people to take a look at this. So I grabbed the link to the petition and I put together that meme of Robert E. Lee and Gregg Popovich, because the funny thing is, talking about how you and your wife kind of said if you put a Confederate jacket on Popovich, he looks like Lee. I've always said if you put the Confederate hat on Popovich, he looked like General Lee. So I'm there with you. I could totally see it. And so I just put the pictures together and I put it up there. And then, we got a big response from people on Go Spurs Go memes. And so that's going to lead me to my next question for you. So, it's gone viral. It's been everywhere. I'm sure you've seen comments. You may have even gotten like DMs on Twitter and Facebook, all sorts of stuff from people. So what's the most positive feedback that you've received about this petition? Sorry.
I think the most positive feedback is the signatures itself, how many people have signed a petition. Reading the comments on the petition is pretty cool because people are really, they see the point that I'm trying to make about Popovich being a leader, being the ultimate man of character in our eyes, and being a San Antonio institution. So I think that to me is the most positive feedback. That being said, I've had to stay off a lot of the social media because I knew that people were going to be negative about it.
And that's my next question.
Jeez.
So what's the most negative thing about this petition?
The thing I think that frustrates me the most is when it's obvious they didn't read the petition to begin with.
Right.
Because I'll read things like, this man is trying to, tarnish the name of Robert E. Lee. And I'm like, you didn't read the first third of the petition. The first third of the petition is basically an argument why we shouldn't rename Lee.
Exactly, because it does say there. It specifically says, like, I'm not for changing the name, but if it has to be changed, I think it should be Gregg Popovich. Yeah, it clearly says that.
And I also list out why, 25 plus years of service to the U.S. Army, top graduate of West Point. He was a first family of Virginia. So, I mean, I clearly put on there, here's the reason why we shouldn't. And for people to, just blatantly say, oh, this guy's trying to ruin Robert E. Lee's name. No, I'm not. Actually, I love Robert E. Lee. I still have a Robert E. Lee mug in my house that I drink coffee out of. I mean,
you're alumni. I mean, you're proud of your high school. You're proud of those 4 years you spent there. Of course,
I go to a football game every year, at least one a year, and it doesn't bother me when they're playing Dixie. I'm always thinking to myself, man, these guys are clapping the Confederate national anthem, but whatever.
And you see, that's funny you say that because I don't think a lot of people realize that either. But I mean, when you spend 4 years of your life at a school and it has these traditions and everything, it becomes part of you. I hate to say you're indoctrinated with it, but you are. It's in your head. This is my high school. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of the people I'm in school with. Everything.
It's
it
exactly
comes
right.
out there. So I do have to ask. So you said you graduated 2002. So have you remained friends with a lot of people that you graduated with?
Yeah, I think one of the awesome things about Facebook is that it's allowed people to do that. 20 years ago, that's why people went to high school reunions.
Exactly.
Now, we didn't even have a 10-year reunion. Well, we tried to. People got to the Flying Saucer, and I think they had like 80 people there out of a class of 464.
Right, that's crazy.
So, no, Facebook allows you. So, yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people I played football with.
Awesome.
A lot of people that, were my classmates and stuff like that. So, sharing the petition was awesome. A lot of people were like, oh my God, Emmanuel started this, and blah, 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 and that was pretty cool. So yeah, I am friends with a lot of people that
That's awesome.
Went to school with us.
Okay, so now Pop has come out himself because he was asked. So that's how you know it really, it actually went to the man himself. He said that he doesn't want a high school named after him. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think Popovich gave a very Popovich answer.
Yep.
He's so humble that he is not going to try to recognize the profound impact he's had in San Antonio. He doesn't even like accepting the Coach of the Year award.
Right.
I remember last time he won it, he kind of just like, okay, I'm done with this. Can we start the game? So to me, Popovich's answer was very Popovichian.
Yeah, of course.
But he needs to understand that whether he likes it or not, his legacy is going to be so much talked about when he's gone. I point to the fact that Liverpool has a John Lennon International Airport.
Yeah.
Why do we have to keep ourselves pigeonholed to political figures or things like that? Why can't we expand the recognition to people that have an impact on the culture of a city?
Damn straight, I agree 100% with you. I do. I totally do. So I don't know if you saw this or not, Manuel, but on Go Spurs Go memes, I had put up a meme of Popovich, and I asked the fans of the page.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, let's name the mascot. Like if they decided at any time to name a high school after Gregg Popovich, what would be the mascot? And just ask people, just say what the mascot is.
I saw that.
Now, I don't know if you saw some of the responses, so I kind of want to go over the responses with you. Okay, so David Casasola, I'm assuming is related to you,
Yeah,
maybe?
he's my brother.
Okay, your brother. He put that it should be called the Stonecutters. And the reason for that is because Papa and the Spurs love the quote from Jacob Rees that they equate to the way that they do things about pounding the rock. And, of course, I responded by putting up the image of the Simpsons Stonecutters. Rachel R. Smith said the Coyote. There were tons of people saying that it should be the Coyotes. And Rachel Smith is a big Go Spurs Go memes fan. She's always on there, and so I just want to mention her on there. Melissa Ripple, I hope I'm saying her last name correctly. She said that they should name it after Tim Duncan, not Popovich. We get that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's 6-1 to me. As long as the Spurs have recognized.
Michael Sinclair said the Falcons, which is the same mascot as the Air Force Academy, which is, that was another big response that we had. People, Juan Huerta said the same thing, the Falcons, and he said, to honor his alma mater, where it all began learning under Coach Egan at the Air Force Academy. Let's see what else. Car Pradell, who's also a big Go Spurs Go memes fan, he put the Popovich Fighting Serbs, which just made me laugh.
Well, somebody has an actual drawing, and they modified the Fighting Irish logo and just put like what looks like Popovich on top. I thought that was brilliant. I had to change my vote at that time when I saw that.
Let's see, lots of Coyote responses. Clay Carbajal said the Honey Badger because Pop don't give up. Beep. Which is pretty good.
That's pretty awesome.
Manuel Sanchez III put the Pistols. Samantha Bond said the Chaps. Brian Arsala said Socrates. So I have to say it as Socrates. I can't say Socrates, sorry. Caleb Garza put a glass of wine. So the responses started getting a little bit silly, but lots of Coyotes, lots of Falcons. Once again, thank you guys so much for responding to that post. Okay, Manuel, now I pretty much asked all the questions that I wanted to ask you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do this little quick questions that we call question fury.
Sure.
So I'm just going to ask you these questions and you just answer as you know. It's basically one or the other.
Sounds good.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Question fury. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Bud Light or Miller Lite?
Bud Light.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay. Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Oh, Whataburger. 100%.
H-E-B or Walmart?
H-E-B.
Favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatello.
Favorite wrestler? Time's ticking.
Oh,
No,
Big Boss
really
Man.
isn't. Big Boss Man, okay. Favorite TV show?
Currently?
whatever. What do you want to say?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Very good. All right. That was Question Fury. Thank you
Nice.
so much, Manuel.
Thank you. That was pretty fun.
All right, Manuel. Thank you so much again for coming in and talking
Yeah.
with us. We appreciate the support and everything. Being on Go Spurs Go memes, everything like that, and coming in and spending some time with us. Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you. Thank you for everything y'all guys do. I think this is great. This is an awesome podcast.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate
keep doing it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. We will. Until it becomes a pain.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in just a bit. We're going to do On the Fly. Manuel's going to hang out with us because we got wrestling trivia next. And now it's time for On the Fly. Brother, it's time for wrestling trivia. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Now we're going to do a wrestling trivia game for On the Fly. Buddy the engineer has graciously put this game together for us. So to my left, I do have Mr. Sean. To the right, Emmanuel Casasola, who is here with us. He's going to be playing along with us as well. So how this is going to work is Buddy will play theme music, and we got to guess who the wrestler is. So if we know whose theme music that is, we're going to hit our buzzer to buzz in. If we get it wrong, we're going to get buzzed out, okay? But we're going to keep going, all right? And see whoever has the most points at the end wins. Are we ready, guys?
All right, we're going to start easy, guys.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Here we go.
Oh, I completely lost it.
Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah.
Wow.
Popovich or Belichick
I know.
in your face now.
I should have known
Okay,
that.
I know. You should have known that. Okay, buddy. Next one. Dun, dun. How did I not know that? Good. No.
I almost
Shut up,
ran
Sean.
down the whole hallway. Good thing I have the streamers on my arms already.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, ready?
Next one. This one's
Sounds like a cheap 80s action movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know much about wrestling, but I thought I did.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna say Ravishing Rick Rude just because.
Oh. Oh, Sean, what's wrong
I
about
think it's understood. I didn't get it.
I have no idea what the music that is. Pass.
Pass.
What?
Or
No,
can
no.
I,
we
can I
want
get
the
a
answer.
lifeline?
We'll come back to that. Okay, we'll come back to that one.
Can
okay.
I call a friend?
Okay, listen to this. Okay, here we go.
You really stumped us there.
I was like,
Jesus.
Okay, here we go. This one you probably should get. Here we go.
Is that the Rockers?
Yes.
Marty
I love
Jannetty,
the
Shawn Michaels.
Rockers.
Knew that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marty Jannetty?
Marty Jannetty.
I'm so out of my element right now.
Yeah, Frank doesn't know any of this stuff.
I thought I did.
Would you like the San Antonio reference to why this song is important?
Oh, Shawn Michaels is from San Antonio?
And they broke up in San Antonio when Shawn Michaels super kicked Marty Jannetty through Brutus the Barber Beefcake's
That's right,
studios.
he's right.
Because I was there live.
Wow.
And my life was destroyed.
Okay, next one, buddy. Let's go.
Here we go.
Papa Buck took me to that one.
Okay, let's deal with this one.
I think I know what it is.
Damn, you got some really hard ones, buddy.
I think it's Big Boss Man.
No.
Oh, I think I do know that. Yeah, I know.
Terrible.
Oh, is it? is it Demolition? Yes, all right.
Oh, that's
Excellent.
good.
I heard the smash, and so I thought smash and axe. So
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
forget about Crush.
so that's Ray 2, Sean 1, Manuel 0.
Yeah.
Okay?
What's your two?
Yeah, I'm out.
I got 2. I got the Rockers, and
Oh,
I got...
that's right, that's right. All right,
How
fair.
dare you question me?
All right, here we go.
Okay, let's go.
Sorry, Dad.
If you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better
That's a big boss man.
Yeah, it was.
That was so...
I should have known that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't, but when I heard Cobb County, Georgia, that's
Yeah.
what gave it away. I thought Big Boss Man. Okay.
That's when I liked him the most.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, give me a second here. All right, let's go with something easy now, guys.
All right. Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
Damn.
Does anybody remember how short those guys were?
They were
Yeah,
like
they were.
5'5", and they ended up opening a restaurant, I think, in Florida, called the Bushwhackers. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
I do not know
Road
if that's
trip.
still
Yeah.
Road trip.
I've got something on my to-do list now.
Our first road podcast.
We went to the Bushwhackers place. All right. Here
Okay.
goes another one. And here we go.
What is gold dust?
Yes.
Oh,
So we can hear the.
That one I remember.
man, I didn't realize that was goat dust. Good job, Sean.
Remember his fight against Roddy Piper? It, like went into the street and just
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
destroyed him.
Hey, a little news on Bushwhackers restaurant, permanently closed.
Way to ruin our Sunday, Frank.
I got a new petition to start.
Open it back up.
I think Manuel gets a point just for that.
Okay.
Manuel got a point.
All right. Okay. Next one.
Okay.
Okay. I got like about 5 more here. So.
Oh, these are perfect.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, I know, and I can't think of it. I know it.
It's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
No?
Bret the Hitman Hart?
That's the one. Ah.
He's getting
I
so
knew that.
close.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cut the air. with
Okay, so what's the
knife.
score right now? What is it? Is it 3-3-1?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I'm gonna mount a
Frank,
comeback
produce.
here.
Produce the score, Frank.
There's
This
paper.
is gonna be Golden State, LA Clippers. This is what this is gonna
He's coming back.
We only got 4 more to go, so you better start.
Okay.
Quick. Okay.
Let's go.
So here we go. Now this one's gonna be really difficult. So I'm gonna go really hard.
Coco Beware.
Oh, no kidding. I wouldn't know that.
Oh, it's Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh,
Really?
That's what I do.
Oh, I know what it is now.
be. What's his name?
I have to find one really obscure.
This is too obscure for me. I don't know.
Can I say what?
Oh, you got any ideas? Well, you guess.
No.
No.
Coco Beware. I don't know.
The Hammer Valentine.
Yeah.
It's one of the
You got too excited with the buzzer, Sean.
I can't help
like
it.
a beer gut from hell.
Yeah, he did.
did. two. He also had a really wicked clothesline.
It's still
which is the worst.
3-3-1.
3-3-1.
3-3-1.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
How many do we have left,
We have
buddy? 3 left?
3 left.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
I want to own this. Unlike my car.
Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand.
Is that Edge?
No.
Damn.
This is recent, isn't it?
Yes, it's recent.
Recent What is recent tur?
Seth Rollins?
No.
You better not be using Shazam on your
Triple
phone.
X.
No. Okay. So I'm sorry, I got you guys.
I think Manuel's trying to use Shazam on his phone.
Oh,
Who was it?
Randy Orton.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Yeah,
gotten that.
no.
I thought this was old.
I thought it was
That's
old, yeah.
after my turn.
I'm sorry. Okay, I should have got
We'll play new wrestlers next week.
That's after the WWF buddies.
Yeah.
I have
Remember those
two.
things?
I still have,
Ultimate
Was that
Warrior. I had.
Sting? Oh, I was
I
like,
have the Legion of Doom still.
nice.
Both of them. Not just Animal.
Okay,
That was that one. All
Okay.
right, here we go.
next.
Okay. Oh, wait, we got it.
I think Manuel got it first.
All
Undertaker.
All right, wait.
I was like, wait for what? Oh, very good. Okay, so 3-3-2.
There's like no music.
What's left? We have one.
We have two more. One that you did not guess yet. So we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Damn it!
good, I can
I
guess
forgot
again.
about that
We're
one.
gonna go back to that one. Okay. Here
Okay,
we go.
okay.
Ready? Okay.
Oh.
That's Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
That wasn't the one from before, right?
No.
Okay, good.
Come scratching down and it hurts inside.
That's the motto.
Okay, so it's 4-3-2.
Yeah.
Okay, 4-3-2. This is it.
And I'm out because I already guessed this one.
Why are you out?
Because this is the one we're redoing.
Yeah.
Okay. I can
So
go
we're all gonna. Well, none of us got it. So
Okay.
This is the last one.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Okay.
But I've been eliminated from the playoffs. So.
Hello, Houston Rockets. This year.
just like the Spurs from the '90s. Aw, burn.
Where's Chris Mullins? I know he's around here somewhere.
I will give you some hints. Okay, so this one because it is a little bit difficult.
Okay.
He was sort of tall. And he had long hair. Okay, moving forward. Here we go.
Oh,
Tall and long hair.
Diesel.
Not that tall.
All right, I'm out.
No, okay, give it a chance. Okay, here we go.
Diesel.
Razor Ramon.
No.
Damn.
Okay, here's another hit. He used to scare the crap out of people.
Boogeyman?
El Gigante.
He did something to the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, yeah. He had a big rivalry with Ultimate Warrior.
Earthquake.
Oh, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy.
I would have never gotten that.
Happy.
Okay, so the game ends 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Right?
4-2.
Okay.
Oh, this is the best game we've ever.
We're gonna have to do this again.
I'll find you guys recent ones next.
I can't do recent
I
ones.
can't watch recent. I have
No,
too much
it would-
stuff not doing.
Okay, that was fun.
Should be like in the 80s or something like that.
It really should be just 80s stuff. Ooh, what if we because we'll have to come up with another game. Like we could do 80s stuff. Like,
Sitcom
yes, what
theme
things-
songs.
There you go. Yes, sitcoms theme songs.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I get that.
Every step you take.
Cousin Eddie Appleton.
No, I like which one is it? The one with Stephanopoulos or whatever.
Oh, Perfect Stranger.
That's what we
were just talking about.
Cousin Eddie Appleton.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was On the Fly. We'll be back in a bit. And that brings us to the end of podcast number 13. Want to do a special shout out to Jason Salazar, the winner of a $50 gift card from our friends at Cigar Point. Thank you, Gabe Garcia, for being a sponsor of Go Spurs Go Memes. Jason, your gift card is on its way. It'll be in the mail. Want to say thank you to the normal Go Spurs Go Memes crew, Buddy the engineer, Frank the producer, and Mr. Sean. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me on a Sunday morning. Again, a shout out to Emmanuel Casasola. Thank you so much for coming in and being a supporter of Go Spurs Go Memes. We will talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, guys, if you are on iTunes listening to this podcast, give us a review. We could really use the reviews. We're hearing lots of positive feedback, but we need reviews. So be sure to give a review on SoundCloud or on iTunes. We will talk to you guys next week. And as always, Go Spurs Go.
Memes.
Man, you nailed that.
That's funny.
Frank, we're professionals.
Stand straight.
Did you see that Kaepernick was out for the year?
Is he?
I think he has a hurt